We have seen profile as well as operation toolbar. Profile toolbar for creating the profiles, and operation toolbar for modification or editing of the profiles we have created. Now let us have a look how exactly we can apply constraints on sketches. Remember, a fully constrained sketch is required when you want to convert that sketch into 3D. It is necessary that you have a fully constrained sketch before applying any feature for being converted into 3D. So what we will be doing, we will be creating the sketch, creating the profiles, we will be modifying the profiles, and we will also apply the constraints on the sketch. Again, we will apply both the types of constraints, geometrical as well as dimensional constraint, just to make our sketch as fully constrained. Also, we will be inspecting the sketch whether it is fully constrained or not, also whether it is a closed loop sketch or not. Let's have a look at this. For an example, I'll just create a rectangle. This is what I have created. Now, as of now, I cannot say this sketch as a fully constrained sketch because I don't have any idea about its position. Also, it has some open degree of freedom. Like you can see, I can shift it anywhere I want to. Also, I can change its length as well. So I cannot say this one as fully constrained. Also, I don't have any idea about the coordinates of this point, where exactly this point is. So to restrict its degree of freedom will be our task. We will be restricting its degree of freedom by means of constraints, geometrical as well as dimensional. To apply this, I will click on this option, constraint option, select it, and select the object or objects. I'll select this, so you can see this is how the constraint will be. This is your dimensional constraint. I'll again click on this. I will apply on this. Still, this two lengths, I'll double click on the length and I will be able to change it. So these two lengths are actually updated, are fixed. Now if I'll try to expand it, I will not be able to. But yes, it will shift. To restrict the shifting of this, what we will be doing, we will be applying a constraint between this line and this axis. Give it any value. Now see, I am unable to shift it in the Y direction or horizontal direction, but I am able to shift it in the vertical or Z direction. So we will apply one more constraint from this to this, like this. Give any value, doesn't matter. Now I have each and every information about this particular sketch. Also, this green color of the sketch is actually indicating that your sketch is fully constrained. This is just a simple sketch which we had applied the constraint and we made it fully constrained. Now, how exactly we can apply more constraints? I had selected some of the elements and I am able to get the dimensional constraint. I had applied it. That's it. But suppose between these two, I'll just delete this. What I want is, I want this horizontal axis, horizontal line to be coincided on this. Then again, for that also I will go for constraints between 1 and 2. I'll select these two elements, but this time I will not place this dimensional constraint. What I will be doing, I will right click, then it will give me the other options. Angle I can apply between these two, parallelism I can give, perpendicularity I can give, coincidence I can give, and tangency I can give. So in this case I have to apply the coincidence. I will apply it. You can see this is fully constrained. Similarly, Over here, if you want to do it, yes, you can easily do it. Select this first, second, right click, coincidence. Now your sketch has been coincided. You can see earlier I was applying 4-dimensional constraints, but if I am using the geometrical constraints, coincidence, as an extra, then I just need to apply 2-dimensional constraint just to make this rectangle as fully constrained. So sometimes what happens, we prefer geometrical constraints over dimensional constraints. And how we can do this? We can create our sketches with respect to origin. I will try to create the sketches as near as possible to my origin, so that it will help me in reducing the number of constraints which I have to apply. If I would have created this rectangle at 0, 0, then it would have been very easy for me by applying just 2-dimensional constraints, and I would be able to make it as fully constrained. Another way of applying the constraint can be, again I will take a rectangle. This time I will not select this option. What I will be doing is, first I will be selecting the objects. Say I am selecting the first object. Now this particular constraint defined in dialog box option will get activated. Let us see again. I'll select it. Now it is deactivated. I'll see. Select this. Now this is activated. With respect to this particular object, how many constraints I can apply, this dialog box will show you. Click on this. See, I can apply length on this. I can fix it, which we will never use, and horizontal, which has already been applied. I had selected the length is applied on this. I'll say OK. Similarly, if multiple objects are selected, like I had selected these two objects. Now between these two, how many constraints I can apply? I will check it over here. Distance, you can give the distance between these two. You can give the angle between these two. Length we had already given. Fix, we will never do it. Coincidence we can do. Tangency I can give. Parallelism, perpendicularity, horizontal is already given. I want to go for coincidence. Select it and say OK. Done. This is the another way of applying constraints. You can apply both the types of constraints using both the options. Next is contact constraint. If I want to give a contact between this and this, definitely the contact constraint will not restrict the degree of freedom, but you just want to show the constraint, then you can do it. First object and say no, in these two it is not applicable. I'll go for contact between 1 and 2. So you can see this is a similar kind of coincidence constraint which you can apply between two elements. There are some more options in the constraints. Fix together. If you want two objects to be fixed, then you just have to select those two. But again, when we work with the parametric modeling, we never prefer objects or sketches to be fixed. Next is your auto constraint. I have object available. I want the constraints to be applied automatically. Then I can use this option. I'll select the objects. I'll go for auto constraint. So elements to be constraints, 4 lines which I had selected. References 1 and 2. With respect to these two references, I would like to go for the reference. I'll say OK. You can see the constraints are applied automatically. But being a design engineer, we never prefer to apply the auto constraint because it is actually applied as per software's convenience, not as per our requirement or our convenience. So we have to manually apply the constraint so that it will be easy for us to modify the dimensions, modify the parameters later on whenever a revision comes into picture. This was all about the constraints of the sketches. Now how exactly I can get, okay, visually I can see that this particular object is fully constrained, but still, let's say I am creating a line over here. Visually, yes, I can see that my sketch is fully constrained, but is it? Definitely it is not fully constrained, because I have some overlapping objects available which are not visible to me. Visually I will say yes, it is a fully constrained sketch, but practically it is not. How exactly we can inspect it? So to inspect it, go to Tools toolbar. In that Tools toolbar we have last option available, Sketch Solving Status. Just click on this. It will show you the status under constraint, and it will also highlight from where this particular sketch is under constraint. If you want to go into details, then you can click on this sketch analysis, or from here sketch analysis. It will give you the detail. See, this 0.339.341 which are highlighted over here are making this particular geometry as under constraint. Other things are ISO constraint, means fully constrained. Also, if you will go into geometry tab, then you will be able to see whether your geometry, whatever you have created, is a closed loop or not. You can see this implicit profile is a closed loop, but this one line is isolated. It is creating some problem. So you can resolve it from here. You can actually delete it, or you can, now you can see this is a closed loop. Over here each and everything is ISO constraint. Now check the status. ISO constraints means fully constraints. There is one more case where if I have given some extra constraint, let's say I will apply this constraint again. So the constraints as well as my object will change its color to purple. Purple shows that it is an over constraint case. Check this, over constraints. There is some constraint, whether it is geometrical or dimensional, you have given extra which was not required as per the definition of your sketch. So to resolve this, what you can do is you can select any of the purple constraint and you can delete that, so that your sketch will be resolved. Now you can see it is ISO constraint. This is what all about we have seen in the sketcher. There are some more things to be learned, but that we will see when the work of those things will come, when we will proceed with the part design, assembly design, etc. This was creating the sketches, creating the profiles, modifying and editing the profiles, applying the constraints, as well as the inspection of the constraints, sketches. Now I can exit from the sketcher environment using this exit workbench tool. Also my sketch will be saved over here in the part body. I'll just exit from the sketcher environment. Now whatever the environment was, I am in that environment, and the sketch is visible to me like this. Okay, if I want to change the sketch, if I want to make any changes in the sketch, then I can double click again over here on the sketch, and I will be able to enter into the sketcher environment, and whatever the changes I have to make, I will make those changes. Again I will check the status of the sketch, whether it is fully constrained or not, and then I will exit from the environment. Okay, now I know that my sketch is not fully constrained. Also you can see visually, you will be able to see black dots over here once you exit from the sketcher environment. This black dots also shows that your sketch is actually a open loop. From these black dots you have to resolve it. This is a method of visually inspecting your sketch. Just exit from the sketcher environment, and if you are able to see any black dot in your sketch, then it shows your sketch is open. I'll double click on the sketch again, and I will resolve it, and I will exit from the sketcher environment. Now I am not able to see any black dots. It means my sketch is fully constraints as well as a closed loop sketch. So this was all about the sketches. If you will save the sketch, there is no such separate file extension for the sketches. It will be saved in the part extension only. I recommend you to go for the practice. I have attached some of the practice work along with the videos, so go for the practice. In case of any queries, you can reach us. Your queries will be resolved. Thank you.